judging, Tim Bosch, just even Tim Bosch doing all the Bryant. There was one judge who was, it was his very first UFC, he did that, and he gave Jason Holm third round, Sarah Kaufman fight.
I know.
She won that fight because she won the third round on one of the cards. Otherwise, Kaufman was going to fight.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's what you're saying. Yeah. They're saying on their cards. How did you guys have that fight?
Kaufman. Sarah Kaufman.
Kaufman?
Kaufman, no doubt.
Last 2 rounds.
But I don't even know who you could go third.
The second round was very close. Could have gone either way.
The first round, the third.
The second round determined the fight. In reality, if you're really scoring the fight, because there's no doubt that Jessica won the first and Kaufman won the third, and the second round was razor close. I mean, you could have given that round either way.
What happened to the cage? We obviously saw.
I don't know. I forgot to ask about that. I was so fucking happy. I forgot to ask about the cage.
Reed Harris said that there's like a clamp that holds two things together like this. It's metal, and it actually broke.
Broke?
Yeah.
There were a couple of bad eye pokes today.
Yeah.
You guys have been talking about gloves. Any update on that?
No, not yet.
Does this make you want to push that?
Well, the last few eye pokes made me want to. You know, we're working on it. What are you going to do? That's not an easy fix. Not an easy fix. How do you make a glove that you can grapple in and not poke people in the eye? It makes it tough.
Do you agree with the deductions? Point deduction for CB?
Yes. Yeah. Keep your fucking fingers closed, man. And if you poke a guy in the eye poke is the most dangerous thing that can happen out there. I mean, Tim Bosch already had surgery on that thing, and you know, he pokes him in the eye again twice. It's bad. Keep your hands closed.
It's heat of the moment. Where do you put Gilbert and Diego? You know, Henderson, Shogun, you know, Gustafson, Jones.
It's one of the best fights I've ever seen. One of the best fights I've ever seen, especially in the first round of reading all this shit about Diego doesn't even belong in there with Melendez. This is a joke. Da, da, da. And, you know, Diego Sanchez is one of those guys you can never count out against anybody. I mean, the kid's unbelievable. He's like unstoppable. It's sick. It's unbelievable.
Do you worry about seeing him getting those kind of wars?
I don't. Yeah.
I mean, he's still a young guy.
Yeah, I'm worried. You know, I worry about you know, JDS too. I think that fight should have been stopped in the third. We're regulated by the government. They're the ones that, you know. And you know what? That's go throughout history and watch any boxing match between 95% of Mexican fighters, and that's how they fight. It's fucking balls to the wall, toe to toe, chin to chin. You know what I mean? It's just that's how Mexicans fight, man. And that's why Mexicans have dominated the world in the lighter weight classes, and why there's Mexican fighters in Mexico that are revered as fucking heroes and icons, because that's what they do. You know?
Where does DC fit in the 205? We haven't seen him there yet, of course, but I mean, what did you think of him beating Roy the way he did? And right now, in your mind, where does he fit in the 205?
Yeah, you know, Daniel Cormier said it his best back there. He's like, "Are you shitting me? I have to go out there and fight after that fight now? There's no way we're gonna. No matter what happens in this fight, we don't look good." And it's true. You don't want to go in there after that Sanchez, Melendez fight. But I thought he looked 1,000,000% better than the fight he had with Frank Mir. You know, he out-wrestled him. He beat him standing up. He was kicking more than Roy. I mean, Roy was just standing there getting lit up. At 205, I don't know. I don't know how he's going to fit in the 205. The 205-pound division has been, you know, one of the, if not the nastiest division in the UFC forever. You know, guys are faster. A lot of guys are taller in that division. It's just, it's not an easy division to cut down to.
Could he be a possibility for Gustafson?
Yeah.
While we're making rankings right now, where do you put this trilogy as far as this is the 10th trilogy in UFC history? As far as all three fights happening in UFC, GSP2, Maynard Edgar, do you put this above all those Liddell Couture?
Yeah, it's the Liddell Couture was big. Yeah, that was a good one too. Yeah, it's good. It was good. I mean, I don't know where I'd rank it. A lot of those were really good.
What happens with JDS now? He's still in his prime, but this is 2 in a row that's just so one-sided.
2 vicious beatings, vicious. I mean, by the end of the first round, going into the second, his face was already starting to look different. I mean, Cain beat him up both times real bad. I don't know. You know, going into this fight, the thing that I said about both of these guys is, no matter who wins tonight, these guys knock off most of the other guys, I think. You know, I think they're the 2 best. You know, but then you got a question coming off a beating like Junior Dos Santos has had twice. I don't know.
Dana, taking into consideration the beating that JDS was taking against Cain, were you surprised he stayed with his back against the cage? For the,
I think he had to. I think he was exhausted. You know, he started to look tired to me halfway through the second round, and then after I think he should have been stopped in the third round, he got a second wind. You know, and he was like, it was almost like he was on autopilot, just throwing punches, you know, hoping they would land. He's a tough dude. I think the difference between the second one, excuse me, and the third one is Junior Dos Santos' wrestling looked a lot better. You know, Cain couldn't take him down like he could in that second fight, and even when he got him on the ground in the second fight, you know, he would take those dominant positions from the back and just punish him. And Junior had a hard time getting up. He had, you know, he was hard to take down this time, and when he got taken down, he got right back up. He really improved his wrestling.
Has Cain told you that he only likes to fight twice a year?
They tell you that?
That's what a lot of people say.
Nope, never told me that.
John Dodson said that he was begging Sean Shelby for a fight. He hasn't fought in 10 months, and he wasn't injured. Obviously, there's 2 sides to the story, but in the interview afterwards, he said, please, UFC, give me a fight. I don't want to sit out for so long.
Dodson?
Dodson, yeah. How does that happen where he's healthy and just can't get a fight? That's the longest I've heard.
Because I keep telling you guys, our roster is too full. Guys have to get fights. It's like every time after a show, we cut a guy and they're like, fuck you, Dana White, you're an idiot, this guy's blah, blah, blah. Shut the fuck up. Let us run our business. The roster's too full. We want to be good to guys that deserve to be good to, you know. Guys like Okami. I like Okami. You know, I like him a lot. He's a great guy. But we have to, when guys lose, and guys are at certain parts of their career or whatever it might be, guys have to be cut to thin this roster out so that guys like Dodson can continue to fight. You know, because we're in a situation where if we don't give guys fights, we have to pay them for not fighting, which isn't good either. It's not like I'm like, oh, we don't want to pay a bunch of guys to not fight. Guys want to fight. It's like Dodson. Guys want to stay busy and stay active. They want to fight.
What do you think of Roy?
Of who?
Roy Nelson.
What did I think? Contrary to popular belief, I try so hard to like Roy Nelson. It's like, I saw him backstage before I came out to talk to you guys. It's like, what's up, Roy? You look good. You lost weight. This, that. And I come out and hear the stupid shit that he said to you guys right before I walk out there, you know? The guy says the dumbest shit I've ever heard in my life, and you know, he's very delusional. That being said, I think he's an incredibly tough guy. With his physique and everything, I'm blown away how he can compete at this level, you know, and how talented he is and what a great chin he has. But every time he gets above number 5, he looks like he doesn't belong in the top 10. You know what I mean? You get him above number 5, he doesn't look like he belongs in the top 10. You get him in there with some guys that aren't, and he looks like a world beater. And everybody starts yelling, he should get a title shot. And then you see him fight guys that are athletic and talented and guys that are, you know, and he looks like he doesn't belong in the top 10.
He said he thought Cormier wasn't engaging enough. Did you see it that way?
And stuff like that. So what he said was, he said Cormier wasn't engaging enough. He out-wrestled him, and he punched the living shit out of him. How much more does he want to be engaged? Huh? He says some dumb shit, and he's very delusional.
George.
He says we've never given him a title shot when he should have got a title shot. Every time you get close to a title shot, you get beat by the best in the world. That's why you've never had a title shot.
George, Saudi Revolution, Cajun News. It seems like they were kind of fighting not to lose. What's your take on that fight?
I don't think so. I think that was, you put that fight on any other card other than tonight, people are like, damn, that was a great fight. You know, those guys were going at it. They were throwing hard. They were taking big shots. George Soteropoulos ate some huge shots tonight from KJ Noons and came back and landed big shots of his own. I thought they both fought great. It's just unfortunate that a good fight like that was on a card like this.
With that being his 4th loss, what do you see happening to him?
I don't do that tonight.
All right.
Yeah, at the weigh-ins yesterday, the young guy who made his debut, Andre Feely, who missed weight, you spoke to him for like a minute or so. You were saying something to him. Do you remember what you said?
At the weigh-ins?
Yeah.
I was saying, yeah, we really respect you stepping up and taking this fight. And he's like, I'll never miss weight again. I'm like, we respect you taking this fight. The kid was fighting in another show at a higher weight class, a much higher weight class, and came in and cut all this weight to come into this fight tonight.
Did you see the fight?
Yeah.
He
Looked awesome. You know, and when you get into a situation like that, and you're like, wow, well, this kid was able to come in at this weight, well, he loses a piece of his purse, and he was actually at a bigger disadvantage in that fight because of all the weight he had to cut in such a short amount of time, and taking the fight on short notice. So I have a lot of respect for guys who do that.
Do you expect him to fight a higher weight class next time up? Do you expect him to fight at a higher weight class next time out there?
I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. He said he'll never miss weight again. That's what he was telling me up there. I was like, I respect what you did, kid. Don't worry about it.
You announced the 20th anniversary plans tonight for the big press tour. How much will the old UFC guys, the guys from like the early days, be involved? The Royce Gracies and Mark Holmans. How many of those guys will you bring in and like do things with them as well?
Guys will be involved in that at the event. We're bringing in. I'm actually really excited for all you guys to see the documentary and see what you think about it. I'm doing a press screening Monday in Los Angeles for it. And with some press out there and a few celebrities, and I'm excited to see the feedback from people.
What did Barkley think about the fights? Did you talk to him?
I mean, show me one guy in this place tonight that the girl or whoever was here didn't like the fight.
Yeah.
You know, it was an awesome night of fights. It was just so. The Diego and Gilbert fight was just. It was crazy, man. Crazy. You're lucky if you see a couple of those in your lifetime, you know? And you're actually there live to see it.
What do you think about your heavyweight division? I mean, at one point, Couture went there basically just because he thought it was an easy title to win. I mean, do you think that has completely changed? Did you think that it's a deep division?
It's a tough division. It's like your question to Gonzaga tonight. You know, not only is it hard to defend the heavyweight championship multiple times like some of these other guys can, it's hard to go on a win streak in the heavyweight division. You know, just the streak in that division is good. And he said it best, big guys, small gloves. And when you talk about the heavyweights, man, one punch changes everything. Cain, I think that fight should have been stopped in the 3rd round. Should have been stopped. Junior Dos Santos could have landed one punch in the 4th or 5th that could have won him the fight. That's how it is with the heavyweights.
Do you ever think about, like, I mean, what do you attribute boxing right now to having a weak heavyweight division? I mean, do you think it's just a coincidence, it's just a phase they're going through? Do you think that there may be a reason why big athletic guys aren't taking up boxing like they used to in the past?
Yeah, boxing, you know, where's Garrett Davies? You know, boxing has become like a European sport, man. It's like, back in the 80s and 90s, you'd never see a European champion over here. You know, Americans and Mexicans dominated boxing. And, you know, as a sport, Floyd Mayweather and yeah, thank you, Canelo, go out and pull the number that they did. And they pull numbers like that because boxing is still that strong in Mexico and in Latin America. I've said it for a long time. Mexico has kept boxing alive, man. It's like, that's why they put, you know, Floyd being undefeated for 17 years, going on the streak that he's been on and everything else. And then you have Canelo, who has an entire country behind him of fans that, like I said, it's like hockey in Canada. That's the way boxing is in Mexico. And that's what sells that fight. That's what, you know. I was worried about this fight because all the Mexican fans are broke. They all went to that fight or bought that $1 zillion pay-per-view, And they all bet on Canelo too, man. You know what I mean? So like, Jesus, it's going to take all the Mexican fight fans friggin' 8 months to recover from that one. I don't know if I answered your question. I start rambling and shit, but you get my point.
Kind of. I mean, I guess I just wanted to see, you're not worried at all or concerned that bigger athletes, or for whatever reason, aren't getting into combat sports like they used to because of the state of the boxing?
No, I think that as the sport continues to grow globally, and you know, you have all these up and coming, you know, all these children and whatever taking mixed martial arts. You know, I think you're going to see more big guys getting into MMA than boxing.
Do you think Cain can finally be that one heavyweight champion who does have a long reign?
I do.
Yeah.
I said it. Listen, leading up to this fight, I never give predictions. But what I said in front of all you guys a few days ago, and I was saying it to everybody, I truly think Cain Velasquez is the best heavyweight in the world. You know? And a lot of people question his chin and stuff. You guys, he took a big shot in the first round, first punch or second punch of the fight that hurt him. You know? And he fought through that. Cain Velasquez has a hell of a chin.
Have you thought that before about a heavyweight champ, though? Like you think about it now, you think Cain could hold the belt. Have you thought that before, though? Have you been tricked before?
I really haven't.
No.
I always thought it was up for grabs and anybody could win.
Even with Brock?
Especially with Brock. I never expected Brock. Brock came to us and was 1-0. He's like, I want to fight in the UFC. I said, dude, you're crazy. What Brock accomplished is unbelievable. The fact that he was the heavyweight champion is insane. He came in 1-0 and ended up starting to go on his win streak and beating guys and won the title. And in a million years, I would have never expected that. Brock made the heavyweight division very fun while he was here. Because I don't know about anybody else at the time, maybe you guys will all act like geniuses now and say, oh, I absolutely knew he'd win the heavyweight. I had no fucking idea this guy would get anywhere near the heavyweight championship. So, you know, the Brock era was very fun and crazy, and I didn't see it coming.
Dana, speaking of Brock, I was looking through the archives, and the last time I believe you said this was the best night in UFC history was UFC 116 when he came back from the Karyn.
That was crazy. That was crazy too. Karyn had him out on his feet in the first round, and he comes right out and submits him in the second round. And who would think Brock would pull off a submission?
And that was kind of the first time I heard you say this is the best card, and now you've said it again. Kind of comparing them, do you still think this is better than that?
This beats everything. This beats UFC 100. This beats UFC whatever number you just said. And I don't know. Tonight was amazing, man. Top to bottom, the first fight of the night right up to the last fight. I mean, the Facebook fights were awesome. I always get worried when the Facebook fights at the prelims are that good, because there's been so many nights when those are good and the main card sucks, or those suck and the main card ends up being good. Me and Joe have this superstition about the prelims. When the prelims are that good, we're worried about the main card.
A couple of days ago, you re-aired 165 on Fox Sports 1. You waived the 30-day pay-per-view.
Because they asked for it.
So this was such a great card. Maybe this could come up.
You can't do that.
But back
Fox is our partner. What?
My question was, HBO for so long would do like a week later they would re-air a pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Would you ever do that?
We can't do it. We can't do it with our pay-per-view deal. They won't allow us to do it.
Why not?
Because they don't like it.
So how'd you get
it
around
bothers
it?
them.
How'd you get around it for 165?
We asked them for permission.
Who's them?
Cable distributors.
Okay. And they said, well, who do you pick up the phone and call?
The Illuminati.
Right. They said, okay, just once? Just for this
yeah,
time
they said we'll let you do it.
Okay.
Now do you wish you'd waited a week? And
No, I think that, I like that thing aired. I like more people watching the fight, Yeah, no, I love it. If we could do that more often, I would.
You think Dos Santos' corner shouldn't have thrown in the towel?
Yeah, I wanted to throw in the towel.
Why do you think that doesn't happen in MMA?
I had Tillman Fertitta, Lorenzo and Frank's cousin, sitting next to me, and asking me how does this work? Can you throw in the towel? I was like, that's a good fucking question. I think if I threw the towel in, I'd get fucking beat to death by his corner and half the fans here, and probably next time I went to Brazil. But I'm always, I don't want this to come out the wrong way, but, I'm a believer. I always like to say, if anybody in his fucking corner cares about him, man, please, throw in that towel. I thought the fight was done in the third round. Is Junior Dos Santos tough enough, and does he have the heart to go through it? Yeah, but does that mean he should? I mean, if you look at the fight, what did it end in the 5th?
Yeah.
It ended in the 5th. So that guy took, 7-8 minutes more of punishment that I believe he didn't need to take until it ended, and that 7 or 8 minutes. I don't know, man. I don't like it.
It's not something that's a part of the culture of MMA. It's not something you see a lot, or the trainer gets up and throws in the towel. If you see it as frequently in boxing, you think maybe it's something that people need to evaluate. Maybe it does need to be something we see occasionally a little more.
Yeah, I think in cases like tonight, and you know what, when you sit here and you talk about something like this, it's like, what if somebody threw in the towel on Diego Sanchez? Diego Sanchez almost knocked him out. And I think the big mistake Diego made was he went for the rear naked choke instead of jumping on him and trying to finish him. So who knows?
And I think that's why, because it is such a more of an unpredictable sport. Whereas in boxing, you get to the 9th and 10th round, you see the pattern. This is not going to change. Right. What's the point?
It's true. But in this sport, anything can happen.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm just being honest and telling you what I think, and I would have loved to have seen that. Junior's a young, talented guy, and just no need to. And the inevitable happened in the 5th round. If you watch that 3rd round again, when he's getting hit, his arms are like this. He's not defending himself. He doesn't have his hands up. He's out.
There was a point, it looked like, and I think the guy was trying to ask this earlier, Herb Dean came in, it looked like he got his hand on the shoulder.
He touched him.
Yeah.
I know.
Could you see why he backed away, why he let it go?
I don't know. I respect Herb Dean. I mean, you guys have heard me many times talk about Herb Dean as a ref, so, but...
He did actually get a hold of him, though. He did.
Even the best have bad nights, and, again, in my opinion, that should have been stopped in the 3rd. What was the fight with that knucklehead referee tonight? I started screaming at this fucking guy, and somebody was getting blasted with. I counted 6. No, after that, I was in my room then.
It was Gonzaga when you stood up.
Gonzaga. So 6 extra punches he took in the face, Jordan did. It's just like, I mean, if you look at the physical stature of that referee, he shouldn't be in there with 2 big heavyweights anyway. Guy weighed about fucking 97 pounds, It's like when they throw what's-her-face in Nevada. She's in there with two huge guys. It's like, are you serious right now?
I mean, how does it happen? Especially because it's a first-time referee. He's never done a UFC.
Right.
How does he get an assignment like that?
Thank you. I agree with you, bro. 100%. He shouldn't be in the big fights. He shouldn't be.
Do you think if Melendez Sanchez was a 5-round fight, Sanchez could have won?
Diego said, "Give us 2 more rounds." That's how crazy. When that fight was over, I went in there and he's like, "Dana, give us 2 more rounds, 2 more." Okay, Diego, let me work on it. See what I can do. I don't. Who knows? Who knows?
Given Melendez has fought Thompson and beat him twice, obviously if he wins, seems like a natural to make that fight. Where does TJ Grant go now? We're still not sure when he's coming back.
TJ Grant's in one of those unfortunate situations where he had the title shot and he had to pull out twice. So he's,
Is he in limbo, or are we moving on?
He might come back and have to fight another fight. We got to keep this thing rolling.
When a guy like Gilbert goes out and does that, it's hard to ignore, right?
Yeah. Yep. It's a huge setback for TJ Grant,
If Thompson won the belt and you did Gilbert versus Thompson at some point for the belt, would you bill it as the 4th fight? Because Ronda Misha is not billed as Ronda Misha 2, I guess, because the first fight was in Strikeforce. But would you promote the fact
we didn't do it because the first fight was in Strikeforce. Just didn't do it.
Doesn't that look better? Like that it's a repeat, that's a sequel?
You'll know that night. Because it's not on the poster doesn't mean, or on the commercial doesn't mean that we're not going to talk about this being the 2nd fight.
Okay, so you would acknowledge, like, a 4th fight sounds...
Of course. We're going to know it's the 4th fight. I mean, everything leading up to it would talk about the other 3 times that they met.
Right.
Dana, Adlan Hagamov, can you tell us about his performance and how the Russians are performing in the UFC?
That dude's scary. Yeah. It's crazy how, you got a wrestler who's holding that single, and you always see this, they're driving around. This guy hits so hard that he knocked him out, doing, you know, with short little punches like this. That dude is nasty.
Nurmagomedov did it really good last time. What can you tell us about the Russian fighters?
Yeah, they've been very impressive, and yeah, that guy is one scary Russian tonight, man. Holy shit, great fight, love it.
The kind of performance were you fast tracking at that point, or you give him maybe a mid-tier guy next time?
Give him one. Oh, I don't know.
What goes through your mind when you see a guy going out on a stretcher? I mean, obviously it's a little concerning.
Yeah, you know, whenever a guy gets knocked out, you know, and especially when a guy takes more punches than he should, you know, it always freaks me out. You know, the one punch knocks you out, and then for him to take more punishment after that when he's out, I go fucking crazy, man. I hate it. It makes me crazy, you know. There's only been a couple times that you know, you guys probably didn't see it, you're on the other side, but I jumped up and I was screaming at that fucking referee tonight. Screaming at him. You know, do your fucking job. Get your skinny ass in there and stop that fucking fight when this guy's out cold getting hit. Oh, I hate it so bad. It makes me sick.
You were yelling at him after he made the stoppage?
Yeah. I was yelling at him while he was hitting him.
Right.
I don't know. It makes me crazy. And you know what? I'm telling you guys, the knockout that you guys are going to see on the fights that get in the house, it's probably the scariest knockout I've ever seen. Scariest knockout I've ever seen. And that dude gets hit with a few more that he shouldn't have got hit with too.
Is he okay?
Yeah, he's okay. Crazy, man. It might be the craziest knockout I've ever seen.
Worse than Uriah Hall?
Yeah, worse than Uriah Hall. Yeah. Yeah.
Would you have
You're talking about the U.S. tough?
The craziest knockout is for the U.S. tough or for one of the...
I just shot Tough 2 days ago.
Right,
to
okay.
Get into the house.
Oh, okay, great.
In Vegas.
In Vegas, oh, okay, right. What weight class?
Crazy knockout. Crazy.
Would you offer Cain and Cormier to fight and see if they would turn it down if you'd offer to?
Cain and Cormier?
Yeah.
Cormier's moving to 205.
But if you offer him the fight, would you?
He knows he could have the fight if he wanted it. Yeah. And the thing, you know, everybody keeps asking me about, well, why don't you make them fight? Well, they didn't ask to fight. You know.
Well, I thought that because they train partners that until you ask them.
But I've said before, when two guys are, I'll give you an example, Koscheck and Fitch, we're both at 170, we're both going like this. They said, we'll never fight each other. Cormier and Cain is staying at heavyweight, and Cormier's like, I'm moving to 205. So there's no question about it. If Cormier said, yeah, I'm gonna stay at heavyweight, but I won't fight Cain Velasquez, I'd be like, bullshit, you're not. That makes no sense. But they've never said that.
Dana, you now have Cain Velasquez fighting Verdun, who speaks Spanish, very familiar face in Mexico since he's been calling the fights for Mexico and Latin America. You will have Kelvin Gastelum on a good time frame. You will have Eric Perez on a good time frame. So what's the missing piece for calling the? You have the television deal. So what's the missing piece for the Mexico event?
I'm trying to put that together. What you just said. What did you ask me?
What is missing? I mean, you have the deal, you have the venue, you have a fight that would be great for Mexico, Verdun against Velasquez.
Oh, so what's the holdup? Why are we?
What's missing?
UFC Mexico?
No, what's missing? I mean,
event right now? I don't know. I honestly don't know the answer to that question. Fuck it, you're right. We should do this. I agree with you.
It could be a fight in a Brazilian stage, in a stage in Brazil. So.
You want that fight in Brazil instead? We didn't even have a fight in Mexico, and you're trying to steal their fight. You guys have like 107 events there, and
just so you can just put in a big
Brazilians trying to steal a fight from Mexico.
The guy's not here, so you guys need Puerto Rico.
Yeah, the Puerto Rico guy was here.
So Dana, I'm sorry if you spoke about this earlier, but I personally thought Sarah Kaufman won that fight. I know it was very, very close, but what was your take on that?
This is exactly what I think. I think that Jessica won the first round, Kaufman won the second round, and that second round was very hard to score. I think it was razor thin. Either way, that fight could have gone either way. So I'm not like, oh my God, how the hell did they give that fight to Jessica And if Kaufman won it, I wouldn't be like, holy shit, this is ridiculous. I think that second round was that close that it was hard. That it could have gone either way.
And I'm curious your take on the women's division. I know we always talk about the ladies stealing the show, but it actually maybe seems that there's more depth and they're even better than you hoped they would be when they came here.
What I love about the women's fight tonight is that everybody always talks about how the women, they steal the show, they go in and they go crazy and start. This fight tonight was very technical. Very technical fight. I thought Jessica had a beautiful jab that she used to set up all of her punches, and she shut her eye with that jab. And Kaufman hits hard and really almost changed almost knocked her out in the third round. Because I actually had Jessica winning that fight, the third round, until she got hit with those shots and got hurt. So it was great to see a real technical fight. Because it's one thing to say the women have a lot to prove, so they go in and they just go at it. And to see a technical fight tonight was pretty cool.
And what's your take on how well Tough is performing, and what are the ladies doing in terms of the ratings for you and bringing new vitality to a show that's obviously been around for a while?
I told you guys going into the season it was a great season, and every time the ladies fight, you all know they do higher ratings than the men. So that tells you something. And as we see the sport continue to evolve, and especially this 135-pound division, I'm glad I did it, and I'm happy to see all these girls coming in as talented as they are and as hard as they fight. It's good shit, and I'm glad I did it.
Have you heard? Have you heard anything about Holly Holm?
I have. You're like the fucking billionth person that's asked me about Holly Holm. Like, I was on, what the hell was I? I was on the street the other day, and some guy's like, hey, sign Holly Holm. I'm like, yeah, I know. Everybody's telling me. I haven't seen her fight.
Fans are telling you?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. So I haven't seen her fight, and but I keep hearing about her. She's like the female Conor McGregor. I was hearing about this guy. I thought Conor McGregor was a heavyweight when I kept hearing about him. For some reason, I don't know why I did what I did. And Holly Holm, I don't know what she looks like. I've never seen her fight, but I know who she is.
You asked Sean Shelby about her?
Yeah, they know. They know who's next and who. Right. When it's time for Holly Holm, they'll let me know.
Yeah, it's only a couple days in, but how is BJ so far? You're filming the show. Obviously, he's kind of that guy that always has that mental thing. You can tell how he is. So how is he so far?
What does mental thing mean?
Like in terms of like how focused he is, or how determined he is, and or what his focus is going into a fight or whatever.
I always think that mental thing means something else with BJ Penn, and he's exactly the same. I mean, he's the same BJ. He comes in and he's BJ. It's going to be fun. It's going to be interesting.
Do you think this is kind of a last run for him in a way? I mean, his age and where he's been at. I mean, is this pretty much it for him? This new weight class and everything he's doing.
I do, and but BJ doesn't see it that way. BJ sees this thing as, he's first of all, he's almost. Everybody's questioning his weight. He's almost there now. Wait do you see how skinny BJ Penn is? It's crazy. And, BJ's one of those guys, I guess the mental thing, like you said, is that once he sets his mind to something, this is what he's decided to do, and he believes he's going to rip through these guys and win that title. And I love that. That's what I want guys here for. That's why when the older guys try to come back, I always say, why? You're at this age, you've accomplished so many things. I mean, if you look at what BJ Penn has accomplished, BJ Penn built the 155-pound division at a time when people used to go, oh, those guys are too small, we don't want to see the small guys fight. Those guys will never be a pay-per-view draw. BJ was one of the biggest pay-per-view draws in the UFC at the time.
Dana, Kenny and I tonight at work kept checking the Red Sox score.
Me too.
How amped are you about that? I know this is a storyline for you and me and a few of us, but how amped are you?
The guy just went, give us a break. So, they're down 2-1. It was in the 7th or 8th, and Victorino, who's had a horrible postseason, gets up there with bases loaded and hits a grand slam home run. Man, it's so awesome. Obviously, we know we're very close to Victorino, and to see the Sox win and for him to pull off a huge, that's the kind of stuff guys like him dream about. His secretary, his wife used to be Lorenzo's secretary, so that's how we met Victorino. She's like, this is my boyfriend, he's going to be a professional baseball player someday. I was like, yeah, right. He's about this fucking tall, right? And not a big dude. And look at him now. Look at what he's done and accomplished, and to pull off a grand slam home run while he's playing for the fucking Red Sox is the greatest thing ever. I love it.
Amen. When we talk about the Red Sox in October,
Yeah. Listen. You need to shut up and just not even talk about sports, okay? Unless it's MMA related, you just need to stop talking.
It's weird.
Yeah, it's weird. All your teams lose. That's what's
Stick
weird.
With them. I'm still there.
Yeah, good.
I only hear you.
Hang in there, buddy. Hang in there.
You cringe at all when a guy like John Dodson is doing these backflips everywhere?
I thought you were going to say when Ariel Helwani starts talking about it. What? Say that again?
When John Dodson, an athlete like that.
Yeah, I'm not crazy. But, you know, it's cool when he does it and lands them. He misses them.
You're telling him to tone it down. You're going to get injured one day, just stop. Sort of.
Yeah, he's a maniac. I mean, look at that kid. I'd like to tell him to quit wearing Teenage Ninja Turtle socks too, you know, and dressing like a 4-year-old kid. But you know, he is who he is. I think he's one of the best athletes in the sport. I mean, the kid is unbelievable. How he, the way he picked that kid apart, and you could tell tonight that kid has an unbelievable chin, and that kid is durable as hell. And what John Dodson did to him tonight was unbelievable. Dodson's badass. He's badass.
What about his picture with Chrissy at the weigh-ins?
That was funny. Yeah. He's a funny, you know, off-the-wall, crazy kid, but when he steps into that, you know, when he's outside the octagon, he goofs around and jokes around a lot and everything. The minute he steps into that octagon, man, he's all business. He's all business. He doesn't play around. He comes right after you and tries to finish you. I love watching John Dodson fight.
How is the flyweight division developing? Because you have the rematch coming up the tough finale, and then you have like a young guy like Montague come in, who was a real good prospect. He gets knocked out by Dodson, who just lost to Demetrius. Is it tough to, when you have that recycling there, where it's like guys keep getting there, but I mean, it's hard to deny him. Dodson's probably back to being another maybe number 1 or number 2 guy again.
Right? No, there's no doubt. Just like we were talking about Cain and Junior, I think they're the best 2 guys in that weight division. You know, him and Mighty Mouse.
Surprisingly, Dodson said after the fight, asking if he wanted a title fight, he said he didn't care. He just loves life. So whatever comes his way, he's just going to enjoy it. And he doesn't seem to be a character that, you know.
Yeah. Good for him. I wish I had that.
Yeah.
You know?
That one thing. He just takes what he gets.
If I was that way. I need to hang out with Dodson more.
So, Dana, was tonight kind of the perfect storm of a great card and a great fight city? Why do you think it sold out so much? I mean, what was special about tonight to make this a place where literally, you know, we had the...
Here, didn't you? You were doing...
I did. I'm sorry. I was working on the other thing.
We were number 1. We're the number 1 biggest gate of all time here. We're number 1. Number 2 is the Rolling Stones. Number 3 is the UFC. Number 4 is Madonna. And number 5 is the UFC. This town's awesome, man. It's a big fight town. They love the UFC here, and we love Houston. I'd come back here every weekend if we could. And this is a cool city, too. I had some of the best Mexican food I've ever... Any of you guys eat at the Guadalajara here?
Wade went there like 3 times.
Was that insane?
Awesome.
It was,
I just kept going back.
Yeah, I couldn't stop eating, man. I said, get me the fuck out of this place. I can't stop eating. It was insane. It's the best Mexican food I've ever had. You know, and I like, you know, you ask around here, you're like, where should I go for Mexican? They're going to send you that real Mexican place. I don't do. I'm talking Mexican American. I need like sour cream and shit like that. I can't have the real Mexican food.
Tex-Mex.
Yeah, Tex-Mex, exactly. And it was off the charts. Everybody here's been there. That's awesome.
Show you around. Yeah.
Good? Good. All right. Thank you guys so much for being here. Appreciate it. I'm out of here. I'm flying to Vegas. See you later. I'm on the most brutal road trip ever this next couple weeks.
Yikes. You're going to Manchester?
Huh?
You're going to Manchester then, yeah?
Going to Germany, Manchester, then Abu Dhabi, then the East Coast. Yeah.
Nice.
No, not nice.
Not nice, sorry.
Not nice at all.